Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to yet another video. Hope you're doing fantastic. My name is Jeremy Su and today we are talking about Google's all-new Tensor chip. So you know how all of us use smartphones? They're all powered by chips, or more specifically, chipsets. Now in each phone, there is a set of extremely tiny chips that are all bundled together. They form what's known as a system on a chip, an SoC. Now here's the thing, the SoC does basically all the functions on the phone. Calling, gaming, media consumption, all of it. So it's essential, and because it's essential, any company who manufactures it has leverage. Take Qualcomm for example. Because almost every Android phone uses their Snapdragon chipsets, they are able to 1. Price these chipsets at a much higher price, and 2. Bundle in additional products and services into this deal, even if the phone maker buying the chipsets doesn't really want all of these add-ons. So now, it's as good as me telling you I'll sell you your most exclusive, most coveted smartphone, but you're gonna have to buy a case from me and a keychain, and you know what? Let's throw in some stickers for good measure. And you wanna know what's the crazy part? It's the fact that I'm not even making these products myself. What I'm doing is I'm really outsourcing it to a third-party manufacturer who I then buy these products from and then upcharge you to make a profit. That's what almost every company except Samsung does. Apple, Huawei, Qualcomm, they all outsource their manufacturing to companies such as Taiwan Semiconductor, TSMC, and Global Foundries. That's pretty crazy. Now it's pretty obvious that this whole process is crazy expensive for phone makers, but that's not even the worst part. In my opinion, the worst part is that after spending so much money, they're still not able to reap the full benefits of the chipsets that they buy. See, think of it this way. Because there's always a minimum of at least 2 layers of outsourcing, custom optimization is never possible. For example, if a new Android phone came out today and said, hey guys, I'm gonna be using an all-new camera system that could output 12K raw video at my theoretical max processing power, well, in reality, that wouldn't be possible because the image processing unit in the chipset isn't optimized for that phone. So by the time you factor in things like lost energy, by the time you factor in things like poorer electrical conductivity and simply having to do more processing work on the back end, that 12K is probably going to be dumbed down to maybe 8K or 4K. Now I think it's a good time to say that of all phone makers, Apple suffers from this problem the least. They have tight control over chip production and generally, they are leading the industry. But you know what else Apple is other than a phone maker? A luxury company. See, all luxury brands tend to have a list of common traits, and one of the traits is vertical integration. Vertical integration basically means owning or having control of every part of the process, from making the product to distributing the product and getting it into the customer's hands. So what would be an example of this? It could be something like making the chips, making the battery, making the cooling system, the case, the screen, making every single component of it, and then maybe having in-house sales, having a standalone store. Now make no mistake about it, having a vertically integrated system is extremely expensive. There's a ton of acquisitions that you need to do, and oftentimes you just have to create subsidiaries to solve problems that the market hasn't solved yet if you want to have your own isolated system. But here's the thing, in actuality, in the long run, after you've made this huge crazy one-time capital expenditure, you should be able to increase your profit margin pretty significantly because you no longer have to pay a markup to a middleman. So here's the thing, Project Whitechapel, also known as the Tensor chip, is Google's great chance to step into the luxury space. And it's not just my conjecture. If you look at the facts, from Google opening their first store in New York, like why would a software company do that? From Google focusing more on hardware instead of just software. For example, the Pixel 6 that's about to come out has incredible major improvements compared to previous models. From the fact that Google has been trying to reposition themselves as not just an advertising company that's trying to make a quick buck off of you, but really a data science, AI development type body, you can tell that Google is desperately trying to build that luxury image. Now, it's not like I'm saying this transition into being a luxury brand is going to be easy, definitely not. I could think of a few problems. The first one is that Google in itself doesn't have very iconic founders, and generally they don't really like to be in the spotlight that much. In order to have a long-lasting, far-reaching, brand, you really need a strong founder, an iconic founder who's constantly out there preaching the vision, kind of like Steve Jobs, kind of like Martin Luther the king. Now another thing that I could think of which could be a problem for Google is their PR. They have pretty bad publicity, second only to Facebook. You know, every time they appear in the news, it's usually for something bad. It's probably privacy leak, you know, data breach, or being, you know, held before Congress. And the last thing that I could think of is the fact that, you know, they make most of their money through advertising. While it is lucrative, it's not exactly a meaningful way to last for generations, because it's a super competitive industry. You have Facebook in that same space as you. I would say that that's probably one of the biggest reasons why they are also trying to reposition. And if they do manage to successfully reposition, they could use their data analytics and, you know, all the different, the massive repository of information that they have to go into, say, pharmaceuticals, you know, predictive science, a whole branch, you know, of different technologies and you know, innovations that they could bring out into the world. And that, in my opinion, would be a much better model than just following ads. Either way, I'm looking forward to the Pixel 6 and the Tensor chip. If you found this video educational, informational, or helpful, do leave a like. It really helps a lot. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more similar content. I do a lot of brand analysis, breakdowns, and yeah, pretty much tech social media type content. That is it, and I'll catch all of you in the next video. Peace.